our special guest today. And we're going to be talking taxes with her. And I have the pleasure of having with me in the studio Miss Michelle Hallman. Yay! We had like the cloud machine to go off. Okay. Miss Hallman is a principal at Taxology LLC and has experience in handling civil litigation, civil tax audits, and criminal matters, including tax evasion and tax return preparer fraud. She has represented individuals, businesses, business owners, tax return preparers, and trust beneficiaries in all tax controversy matters. She's worked as a litigator, a labor negotiator for the District of Columbia government, and has worked as a trust attorney for Fortune 50 financial services companies such as Citicorp, Wells Fargo, and U.S. Trust. Ms. Hallman graduated with honors from Tulane University Law School in New Orleans, Louisiana, and is barred in Louisiana and the District of Columbia. She's admitted to practice before the Internal Revenue Service and the United States Tax Court. More applause. Yay!
Thank you. That's the most applause I've gotten in over a month. I really appreciate it.
She said in a month, like 30 days. I'm current. So I think what we want to... I can't. Oh, are you speaking to the mic a little bit more, Michelle? Make sure that we can hear you.
All
okay,
right.
So introduce again. Well, you're here, Michelle. So one of the things we are going to be talking about, and I love the beginning of your bio here, because you are really helping people. This is indicating that these sorts of people could need you. And if you need a tax attorney, that means you're in tax hot water. So just those individuals, I'll just read them again. She defends, businesses, business owners, tax return preparers. I always find that interesting. And trust beneficiaries. So trust beneficiaries, this is some of the things we're going to try and give you. Well, I would think more of the trustees in certain matters. But today's topic, we want to talk about taxes. So, Michelle, talk to us a little bit about taxes. And we do know that we have a cutoff between individuals that have smaller estates and larger estates. So please feel free to clarify when appropriate. So if someone, let's start with a person who has not done any estate planning,
right?
Okay, and they have an estate that's under the thresholds,
right? Which for this year, 2015, for last year, for 2015 was $5.4 million, and it's going to go up each year after that. So if the decedent doesn't have assets, and that could be a stock portfolio, it could be real estate that's above that amount, you don't have to worry about. And the majority of individuals fall into that category. So, and I think that you referred earlier to that point of demarcation. So that's what we're talking about.
So when you say that they don't have to file, they don't have to file any estate taxes? Returns?
No, they don't. Yes, they may have estate taxes. They don't have to file an estate. An estate tax return at 706.
Yeah.
But the majority of people, 1041. So going back to your original hypothetical, where let's say somebody dies on June 30th of this year, and they're unmarried, and they have, let's say they have a house and maybe a couple of other assets, and they work from January 1st to June 30th. All income that they receive between January 1st and June 30th is going to end up on their tax return, the normal 1040 for the next year. After their date of death, June 30th, so as of July 1st all the way to December 31st of, let's say, 2016, their executor or their administrator will have to file the final return for them, which is the 1041, which is the U.S. tax return for estates and trusts.
Oh, awesome. So if you have a small estate, you don't have to worry about a separate estate tax return. You're going to wind your affairs down like a regular individual, which requires 2 returns at a minimum, right? Because I guess unless it's just not possible. It's just not possible. So in any year that you pass, I was trying to think of a scenario, like if I died on December 31st, when the clock struck,
midnight, right.
You just couldn't slice that second and do my accounting. So maybe I could just get away with 1 return, but let's just do a normal scenario. where you die at any point in the year. So if I pass away in March, okay, there's going to be the 1040 for January through March, and then for the remainder of the year for accounting for what happened to my estate after I passed away, what additional monies kept rolling in for a little bit,
exactly.
what insurance, policies cashed out, things of that nature.
Only if those insurance policies were, even if only if the beneficiary was the estate. Otherwise, it doesn't end up. So let me mention this. So after that March 31st or March date, and now you're receiving income into your estate. It depends. If your income that's received is under $600, guess what? You don't have to file, or your executor doesn't have to file. So that's the good thing.
So let me ask you a question. Because we know, like say in Maryland, that the thresholds for the federal thresholds and the state thresholds are not the same.
Right.
So what if you trigger a state threshold? What's the scenario then in terms of the value of your estate? So you're above $5 million, but I think in Maryland it's around 2 something. What if you're in the middle there?
Well, for me as the preparer, what I'll end up doing is gathering all of the same information that I would have to gather for the 706. So it's a different form, and I haven't done a Maryland return in a very, very long time, so I'm not even going to say what the number is. But it's for each of the estate tax returns, the information that's needed is pretty much the same. And look at it from the state or the taxing authority / government's position. What they're trying to find out is, okay, we know how much income you received while you were alive. And we'll see that on your 1040 or your 503 or 502 if you're filing in Maryland. We'll see that. What we want to know is you may have accumulated additional wealth, okay? Which now is going to go to some beneficiaries, or you may be giving it to a charity. We / the government want to be able to track that property, that wealth, and see where it's being transferred to. So that's really the policy purpose behind having a 1041 or having a 706 or the Maryland.
Informang to the government. That's all they're doing. That's all they're doing.
They want to know. And I tell it.
So it's an informational return because you're underneath the threshold. They just want to be nosy a little bit.
That's it. They want, and I tell people, and if you read the tax code, and you know this, Carmiece.
Well, what we'll do is, we're going to pause it right there because we have to go to traffic now. So on the other side of traffic, come back, and we're going to continue talking with Ms. Holman about the state taxes and what we got to do.
Okay.
Yay.
Tell me what I'm not talking into the mic.
1450 WOL.
See?
Yeah.